So today I'm presenting part of my work titled Endangered Identity, a project that focuses on my relationship with nature and land as a minority body in the United States of America. Looking at nature as a privilege to those most fortunate in the era of the climate crisis, while also looking at nature as the ultimate commonality between all people. Parts of this work look at circumstances and thoughts I have as a queer artist, as a son of a Mexican immigrant father, and as a climate activist. Building on low realities to the mecca of queer and minority agencies. And in a world of extreme time of opposition and I think of lack of empathy, I find that the world cries out for a new future. We as humans are all connected together through collective land and plant life. And as they dwindle and change, taking care of them while also taking care of each other, in our current state become more radical of ideas and values. The part of this project I'm presenting today is titled Your Land is Our Land, a project that takes back systematically destroyed soil for new frontiers through textile making and tradition for those underrepresented. Throughout the work, I use a lot of beads, specifically seed beads and pieces for places of importance. In this case, for this piece is the mapping of internal feelings to be externalized. Places where I'm signifying and expressing identities, and places where I'm actually handwriting statements and questions for permanence. The CB itself, for me, was a case study of also redesign for a take back of a craft in North American communities with the past of rich colonialism and a craft truly for trade. So the first part of this project is the redesign. I went through different steps. I went through a 3D rendering, a 3D printing, silicone molding, and then using different materials to actually cast beads myself. The redesign that I ended up taking was taking the seed bead shape and exporting an axis off of it to create different lengths. And then the second part of this project is the material itself. The first one I'm going to talk about is Ismoalt, which is a natural sugar that compounds from beets. And with heat in granule forms, Ismoalt melts down into clear bodies and hard bodies like a resin would. But one of the beautiful attributes of Ismoalt is that with water, it transforms and it dissipates. The second material is actually the seeds inside of these beads themselves. While doing research of land, I came across the destructive systems have transformed much of our healthy, robust soil into nutrient-less dirt, resulted by monoculture farming practices, lack of diverse crop rotation, use of heavy chemicals, fertilizers, tilling practices, strict use of annual crops, all systems that were also brought from colonialism. So how can we repair through non-tilling farming practices and thoughts of the plants that we grow? Straying away from annual crops, perennial crops and their root structures allow soil to gain back bacteria and nutrients of soil that we live off of. The seeds I use for this project are all handmade with Ismoalt and seeds. There are a variety of perennial wheat, goldenrod, and a mix of deep grower prairie grasses. Well, also some of the beads have seeds of my own identity myself, coming from immigrant parents. And so once these beads are fabricated, they're separated in their specific heights and shapes, and a digital map is created. And in the design of the seeds, they're placed row by row. Beads are all strung in order of the digital map. And once the stringing and labeling of the rows are completed, the yarn and the beads are crocheted in a round to create armor-like garment structures. I think of these armor garment-like structures as a new future, a vision that holds the environment to its highest value, providing traditionally marginalized people to have the power to change and the way that we operate in the world. This textile I see is also a conceptual power, and through the impermanent handicrafts of the beads, that all hold seeds that tell stories of migration. There are also seeds of resilience and seeds of permanence and repair. Perennial prairie seeds that can physically repair the dirt and soil all sustain communities. This textile is created of all natural materials. Wool is used as the yarn base for the object, while Ismoalt is a natural sugar and biomaterial. With the intention of this work, the project, the seeds, and the beads themselves are all used to grow perennial prairies. One garment equals 70 square feet of regenerative soil creation. With the water that dissipates, okay, with the water, the beads dissipate, expelling the raw seeds to grow into the earth. And when textiles are worn on bodies like my own, underrepresented and dismissed, and historically like my ancestors given what to do instead of making up their own minds, gives me and many others the power and agency to take back our own futures. These plants and the humans would grow them, will grow together, healing our land, supplying us with tools to create nourishment, new textile making supplies, and healthy ecosystems.